Hey guys, coming at you today with the delicious ooey gooey keto s'mores cookie recipe. So, let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. My name's Alycia. I'm a pastry chef with a sweet tooth, and I own a keto gluten-free bakery, Sugar Swap Bake Shop, and I'm here to teach you all the tips and tricks for keto baking so that you guys can make your own keto creations. So if you enjoy my recipes, please hit the subscribe button down there, give the video a thumbs up, leave me comments, share with all your friends and family. They'll be glad you did. It all helps me bring you new videos every week. Today, the decadent, ooey gooey, melty, delicious s'mores cookie recipe. Now I made it a little bit more manageable than some of these ones I was seeing that were like the size of your face, which most of them use like 3 ounces of cookie dough. I only did 1.5 ounces of cookie dough, so I kept the calories lower than 300 on these cookies and only 2 grams of net carbs each. Of course, the viral cookie is kind of an easy hack to make because you're using pre-made graham crackers, pre-made marshmallows, and Toll House or whatever cookie dough for the top of them. Obviously, we have to do a little bit extra work for ours, but the nice thing is you can make all these recipes whenever you want and just kind of throw them together. So I'm going to show you beginning to end, but you can definitely break this up into a couple days. So let's get started with the graham crackers. Now I'm not going to go into super great detail here. I will link up there my newest graham cracker recipe that is super low carb. The only difference is going to be I cut this in half to only make 1 batch of s'mores cookies, but you can literally make a whole batch of graham crackers and cut some specific squares for these cookies. So I'm not going to explain a whole lot here. I will put the measurements up on screen as we go. I'm just going to beat my butter and sweetener together, add just a ½ teaspoon of vanilla extract and the dry ingredients, and we'll get to rolling it out specifically for these s'mores cookies. And I forgot that I used a hand mixer in a bowl for this because it's such a small amount. I should have done that again because this is a huge mixing bowl, a 6-quart. So it's going to be a pain to get this whipped up, but it'll work eventually. And it'll work in your 4.5-quart bowl if that's what you have for a KitchenAid. But you can do this with a hand mixer. My arm did get a little bit tired yesterday. You just want to get this nice and fluffy and some of those granules dissolved in there. As you can see, it's significantly lightened in color. The nice thing is you don't really have to wash this because we're making our cookie dough also, and it's a lot of similar ingredients. Just get this into a dough. Sorry if you can hear my AC. I'm gonna have to just shoot because it's gonna be running all day. The only difference with this graham cracker recipe, because we're doing half, I figured out dimensions in order to get 15 crackers, which is enough to make 1 batch of cookies, because a batch of cookies makes 14. So you'll have 1 extra square. But I still have my template from yesterday. This is what I baked it on. So I'm just going to do a new sheet, and it's 6 3/4 by 11 1/4. So you do it on this side, but then flip it over. Apparently I thought it was 3/4 yesterday instead of 11 1/4. I had it written down right. Like I said, if you want to just do a full batch of graham crackers, you'll just have some left over to make actual s'mores. Yeah, I totally moved as I was doing that. It's just a rough estimate. It doesn't have to be perfect. But I'm one of those people that I want everything to be perfect. Because there's ink on that, I have it on the other sheet of paper still. But I have really inky pens, which aren't the best for this. Start with the ball of dough and just getting it into the rough shape we need. Then you need another sheet of paper on top because it will stick, and try to get it even all the way. You're always going to be thicker in the middle, so always go from the middle out to the edges. Take my bench scraper, add dough where you need it. This is really thick down here, so. Get all the extra ink off. You can flip it over. That way you can see your lines better. Always the corners that are thinner. Until it's really thick right here, not over here. So that's where I gotta concentrate. Okay, should be about good. Square it up and feel where the thinner parts are. And just add dough and kind of work it with your hand. And if you're still thick, you can kind of move it down with your hands or squish it out like this to kind of even it up, and then take off the excess. Obviously, don't have to be perfect. We're putting chocolate, marshmallow, and cookie on top of this, so there's really no need to make it super perfect. The biggest thing is just trying to get it all even so that it bakes evenly. It should be good. And what I did to cut down on waste too, I cleaned off this piece with a scraper so that I could use that to bake my cookies also. So it's 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, so 3 by 5. There you go. And I just eyeball it, cut all the way through, because you want to break these nice once they're baked. So if you do a full batch, just do half of it in squares like this, and then do the rest as normal if you want, or however you want to eat your graham crackers. I'm going to throw this in the freezer for 5 minutes or into the refrigerator for 15. Preheat my oven to 325. And while that's chilling and everything, we can talk about the marshmallows. So obviously you can make the graham crackers way in advance. They've lasted on my counter at least a month. They stay crispy and everything. You can always make that ahead of time. Same thing with the marshmallows. I made these a week ago. They do turn yellow because of the allulose kind of caramelizing when we make our marshmallows. They tend to go from white to caramel color. The same thing happens when they get cooked too. So they're gonna be like kind of caramely colored inside anyways. But I made them in this thick silicone 8x8 pan. I cut them into 4 strips. So these are I got 2.5 strips-ish left, but we're only using a 10-gram marshmallow for these cookies. So I figured it out. It's like 79 10-gram marshmallows. You definitely have plenty to take camping with you to make actual s'mores if you want. But to prep these guys, you can just cut your 10-gram marshmallows and have them ready to go. So you need 14 of them. I have a little bit of my erythritol with a little tiny bit of arrowroot there to make them not sticky. I got a couple here still, I think. But these are like kind of perfect to make 10-gram marshmallows. Just gotta cut them that. Whoop. A little light. Whoop. But they get kind of sticky when you cut them, so if you want to do it ahead of time, you just do a little on them so that they don't all stick together. Between 10 and 12 should be good. Whoop. 14. There you go, the marshmallows are ready. Now we can get on to making the cookie dough for these, which can also be made in advance. I've flattened and froze my cookie dough. You can just defrost it in the refrigerator, pull it out when you're ready to use it for like a half hour in advance so it's soft enough that you can mold it around your marshmallows, and it's good to go. I made it like 4 days ago and used it yesterday to, you know, do the last experiments. Probably gonna be making a bunch of these to take to a vendor show, so I'll use all my marshmallows. We set these aside for now. They're fine even in the open air. Okay, my oven went off, so we're gonna bake those graham crackers. The full recipe was 7 turn 7. Last time I did these, I only did 6. It all depends on how chilled your dough is and all that stuff, and your oven, because all ovens vary widely. So definitely keep an eye on it. You want it just golden around the edges. Into the oven it goes. And we can get on to making the cookie dough. So this is my new cookie dough recipe. I'll link up the video that I did this. I made a English toffee chip cookie with it. This is a new lower carb version from my old chocolate chip cookie recipe. I'm making it exactly the same, except for I'm using these chocolate chunks I make. I mentioned them in my salted caramel brookie video that I've been melting dark chocolate chips in a big pan, spreading them out, chilling them really well, chopping them up myself, so I have kind of chocolate chunks to use in things. So this is 4 ounces. Normally my chocolate chip cookie I do 6 ounces, but we're adding chocolate chips underneath the marshmallow too. But this is the perfect comparison to why I just weigh everything, because this is 4 ounces, 1 full cup. This is 3 ounces, a half cup, and it's like just over the top of the half cup. So depending on your chips, they weigh different. So this is for the cookie dough, and then I measured out 84 grams or 3 ounces of a dark chocolate chip to put underneath the marshmallows, because that's how the viral cookie is. But these are actually the Trader Joe's dark chocolate chips, which I stocked up on without looking at the label. They're good and delicious, but I don't like the fact that they don't tell you how many grams of allulose are in them. So if I were to put this into my Recipal app on my nutrition label, it would say 16 grams of total carbs for a quarter cup, because I don't know, Google says there's 5 grams in a portion, but even if there's 5 grams, that's 11 total minus 2, so that's 9 net carbs for a quarter cup, kind of a lot. So I've just been using this in recipes to experiment, and I've been snacking on them and giving them to my son. But they are delicious, and they were lower priced than a lot of the other keto chocolates. I've been trying to recreate it, but that's another thing that's very confusing, because whenever I combine these 3 ingredients, I don't get a solid chocolate chip. I'm not sure how they do it. Just whipping this until light and fluffy, adding an egg, 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract, and the dry ingredients. Timer just went off. I'm going to spin the graham crackers. Just so they bake up nice and evenly. I can smell my graham crackers, so I think they're just about done. There's 1 minute left on the timer. Okay, nice and golden brown. I'm gonna throw them back there to cool. I am gonna put it onto a cooling rack so it cools faster, so we can get to making some s'mores cookies. Our cookie dough should chill a little while too, just because it's really soft when it, is first all mixed up. As you can see, our dough is very soft. It's also hot in here because we're baking, so you're gonna need to chill this down a little bit in your chunks. Okay, so I'm just gonna spread this out a little bit and get it in the refrigerator to chill for a little bit. We do need it soft still to form around the marshmallows and everything, but it's a little bit sticky. We'll be back for the assembly of these s'mores cookies. Okay, our cookie dough's been chilling maybe like 20 minutes or so. I'm gonna scoop out all the cookie dough, have it ready to go, so that we can just have an assembly line of making these s'mores cookies. We need 42 grams. And if you do exactly 42 grams, you should have exactly 14. So it's soft still, but not as sticky as it once was. I didn't actually try any other scoop. I probably should do that. I have a lot of scoops. Let's see how this one is. I have 2 different sets. Pretty close. Really level it off. So I'll have these linked below. I believe they're 1, 2, and 3 tablespoons or something like that. Perfect, 14. Made a little mini cookie with the rest. Don't want to waste any of it. Okay, we're just about ready for assembly. Okay, our graham crackers are cooled. Here is our graham cracker sheet. If you squirt it, should be good to go. We're going to use this sheet and this sheet. That way we're not wasting anything. Yesterday I did fit 12 on here, but I'm just going to do 10 and 4. Now, like I said, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm gonna measure 7 grams on each one. Not quite a tablespoon. So I have it not quite filled up. But you can use that as your guide. It's a little bit easier. And then put your marshmallow on top. And then cookie dough, the reason we did that first, it lets it, warm up a tiny bit more. Flatten it out, drape it over your marshmallow, like that. There's your s'mores cookie. Did that one a little off center. It's okay if your marshmallow is peeking through. They all taste delicious. Preheat your oven to 325. We are going to chill these a little bit. The first time I did it, I only chilled it 10 minutes and they were pretty solid. It was so hot in here yesterday and my dough was so soft that I ended up doing like 15 minutes. Last one, popping these in the fridge into the oven. Ooh. The chocolate chunks definitely make it easier to get like a thinner cookie dough than the regular like Bake Believe chips. Okay, into the refrigerator. I'm gonna check them after 5. Finish up these last 4 and then we'll get those into the oven. Okay, I set it for 3 more minutes because they were almost solid. Now, the first time I did this with only 1 cookie, it took 12 minutes. When I had the full tray of 12, it took like 19. So depending on how many you pack on a tray, how chilled they are and all that stuff, is gonna make the time vary on how long these gotta bake. You still want them looking kind of raw in the middle because the heat from the marshmallow and everything, they continue to cook after they come out of the oven. So you definitely don't wanna overcook them. Plus the allulose keeps the dough kind of soft in the middle too. Timer just went off, so the dough is pretty much stiff on top. I'm gonna pop these into the oven. I'm gonna do 7, rotate them and see how many more minutes we're gonna do. Into the oven they go. It's been 7 minutes. Look good. Oh, it's actually been 8 minutes. Okay, it's been a total of 17 minutes. Okay, so they're getting golden and done around the edges, but they're still a little bit mushy looking in the middle. That's what you want. They look delicious. They do gotta cool a little bit before you touch them, otherwise they'll be molten lava hot in there. Okay, cookies have been cooling for about 15 minutes. Time to break one open. Yummy. They're so good. S'mores and a cookie. Cooking them at lower temperature doesn't get the bottom too brown. So good. I'll put up the nutrition facts here. I just did it with all Bake Believe dark chocolate. Like I said, with the Trader Joe's chocolate chips. If I would have put that in my Recipal app, it would have messed with the carb counts and stuff, but these are some pretty hefty cookies for only 2 grams of net carbs. I'll try to find a similar size one to compare the carbs with. You probably saw it on the thumbnail already. But crispy on the bottom. My cookie is chewy on top and just a little bit crispy around the edges. Super light and fluffy cookie. I love my cookie recipe. Soft and chewy, with gooey marshmallow center, crispy graham cracker. It is so good. So I did make a batch of these yesterday, and I think I did overcook these ones a little bit, but I threw them in the freezer. I pulled one out to see what happens and like what it would be like. Once they're cooled completely, the marshmallow becomes stiff again, and you get that real pull on it. But my cookie is still super chewy. It's still crispy on the bottom. I was thinking I'd take these camping. Most people that go camping take foil with them. I'd put one in foil and like put it next to the campfire to like get it kind of warm and melty again to eat it. They're good either way, but they're really good when they're fresh out of the oven. So these were only in 8 and 7. You can see they're starting to brown. So I'm gonna pull those guys out. So the less you have on a tray, the faster they're gonna cook. Let's do one more pull. Ooey gooey and delicious. Excited to have a bunch more of these. So I hope you guys enjoy this recipe and try it out for yourself. I know it's a little bit of work, but like I said, you can do all of it on different days. If you have some of my graham crackers in the pantry, you can just break little chunks off and use them as is. You don't need to have the perfect squares or anything. I did a bunch of tests with my old graham crackers that were just in random shapes. So pretty forgiving recipe, and you get to have a bunch of my marshmallows on hand for camping this summer. So if you plan on trying it, let me know down in the comments below, and if you do, definitely let me know how it turns out and if you enjoy them. I'd love to hear if you change it up, add different chocolate or flavorings to it. Let me know all the details in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my Amazon shop page. The link will be down in the description box below, along with the blog link to the full recipe. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always I'll be back with many more keto, low carb, healthy meals, desserts, and snack recipes. Bye guys, happy keto baking and s'mores making!